Okay, well, doing some work again here on VMD. Took a month off to work on one thing and a month off to work on another thing. I'm the worst. Well, I took half a month off for the first one, but yeah, we're back. We're at it. We have some new stuff coming down the pipeline I want to show you guys. These are definitely some fun ideas, and I've been postponing recording them, partially because I just do a lot of posting by Discord, and partially because I'm always antsy about like putting my ideas out there before they're released and possibly getting yoinked. But turns out one of my big ideas I'm sitting on is already getting talked about like less than a week after I talked about after I demonstrated it. It's getting talked about by other people elsewhere. The same idea, I should clarify, not my implementation of it. So not only do we have the ability to play revision maps, which I've already shown off a little bit, we also have the new custom revision. I don't feel like I've demonstrated this yet, but basically you can choose each region between vanilla or revision, and there's even a randomized button which has a certain amount of control to it. But yeah, you can basically do this, and this is like a roguelike way almost to like randomize the level layout somewhat. I say roguelike generously, but basically the condemned mode is like a roguelike mode, so if you're just running like the same maps over and over again, it gets a little mundane. This is actually a really nice way to spice things up. I've been doing a little bit of this in my spare time, and I'm honestly having a blast with it. It's very good. I was not expecting to be liking it as much as I actually am, fun fact. So that's really just extra nice. Also have some expanded appearance customization. This is directly after Augmentique. There's clearly more of an interest in unique ways to customize the player. So I'm kind of like expanding what you can do with that. And the reason I am doing that, I don't know how many females I actually set up. Probably not many. Yeah, I actually don't even have any non-trench coat female builds, it looks like. Oh no, I have this one that I did purely for testing purposes. That's funny. But yeah, so we have like just some basic stuff you can do with appearance customization. Otherwise, just be Mr. Agent guy. So that's cool. Obviously, I had it on my to-do list, but when Phase 2 started to like explore at least MP Jumpsuit as an extra model, and I was looking at it, I was like, yeah, it does some things, but it doesn't do a lot of other things, so I'm probably not going to mess with it. There's obviously an issue with missing animations in a lot of the models, but I modified the models to add missing animations, which there's only like one major one, which is like crouch and crouch walk related stuff. And I also did some work with adding left-handed versions and revamping some of the skins and doing like a limited pool stuff. Some of the stuff could use more skin variations. I don't have texture work for that. I might port what they do with Augmentique. I might not. Augmentique is supposed to be available for public use, but it's also just kind of like this like big vague box of pre-bundled, pre-packaged stuff without any source assets. And I'd really only be interested in source assets because I already have such a specific implementation of the system for appearance implemented. Like, I'm not interested in tacking an entire secondary mod and using its architecture instead of my own one. That's more work than it's worth, frankly. But yeah, we have some other stuff going on here, so let's demonstrate this. I've got how pale this JC is, damn. We've done some work with fixing the lighting on the player hands a little bit. Turns out they were fucking up brightness a whole bunch. Because basically, the nicest way I can put it is I was importing them at a really aggressive offset, and it turns out that's really bad for models. Like the sniper rifle, if you duck with the sniper rifle, it usually turns like max lighting in vanilla. That's because it has too aggressive of a Z offset for import, so when you duck, you're shoving it inside the ground. So now I modified the import offsets on 3 first-person models, one of which is the player hands. And that is fixing the lighting issues on those almost entirely. There's, of course, I shoved my gun into a wall. This would require re-importing literally every single item in the entire game, though, so I'm not going to fuck with that. See if I can, already showed up the poison rework a while ago. What's that? Do some work here. Okay. Okay, yeah, he's finally out. Still this guy's shit.
Approach,
Oh my god. What is that? I have 2
view,
pistols? Oh no, is this that one bug from vanilla? No, it's not. In fact, let me blow your mind real quick. This is... Thanks, Alex. Anyways, this is what really thing I wanted to show off. Really the thing I wanted to show off in this video. Oh my god. What did he do? What did he do? This is now part of Gunplay 2.0 Alpha. This is actually a pretty radical balance change. I might begrudgingly have to see what I do with the condemned rule set and what settings you're allowed to run for it to be recognized as official. I like what this does. This is really fun. I kind of want to keep it as part of the condemned for that reason, but it also is a really aggressive balance change. It would almost always incentivize running really like Gunplay 2.0 Alpha on pretty much any Phase 2 condemned run. I'm not sure how I feel about that. So, let's talk about this. This isn't just, oh no, you can do 2 of the same gun. This is, I can do 2, whoops, I guess I fucked that up. Yeah, my bad. I can do 2 of, whoops. There we go. Anyways, we can do 2 of any one-handed weapon of sufficient type. I don't allow crowbar, sword, or nano sword to be dual-wielded, because that would just wreck balancing completely. Dual combat knives, combat knife and baton, prod and baton, etc. all allowed. It's not really like a huge incentive for this particular build, but it's not terrible, right? And you can see we have like some stuff going on with Gunplay 2.0 already, where like the guns are swerving and stuff, and we walk around, they kind of bob up and down with the walk bob. Walk side to side, they do a little bit more of a sideways bob. It's some other stuff going on, like for instance, we notice that the left hand is very shaky. That's because Gunplay 2.0 Alpha accuracy system creates shakiness to make the deterministic instead of probabilistic point of impact more chaotic and varied. And the reason why the left gun's like that is we are right-handed, and if we were right-handed, the left-handed gun would be doing that. And that's funny because that was basically emergent gameplay. I did not code that, but because I had already coded a left versus right identification system for weapons, and I'm basically just multiplying the handedness by -1 when it's an off-handed gun. Yeah, it works like that. It just happens to automatically know our offhand aim is worse. Really nice feature. Now, we have some other stuff going on. Like, for instance, we can shoot either the left or the right gun independently. We can do them at the same time. And it's really up to you. You use the scope button to fire, which is a little clunky in the current control setup, but it will definitely be better for 2.5. If not 2.0. I'm kind of debating whether or not to change the control scheme for 2.0 around this. But I think right-click is the best option for aim-down sights, /scope, /fire second gun. Lining up like that 3-piece harmony, that is a really aggressive argument for right-click being something other than FROB, which is kind of heresy in Deus Ex, but also at the same time it makes sense. Let's do a reload. We're going to notice that we have to reload the guns in sequence, and each gun we reload is going to take significantly longer to reload. So if you're running this in Phase 2, easily the best way to run it is with Gunslinger. Get that 33% reload speed bonus. And that's actually not the only thing going on, because while you're reloading with one gun, you can shoot with the other, and it works both ways, which is really nice. So that's really cool. I love that. Let's give ourselves all ammo, just keep demonstrating stuff. So yeah, here's the question is, okay, so this is pretty sweet. This lets you do actually quite a lot of stuff. With like how you dual wield, you know, you could go like stealth pistol and combat knife, pepper gun and mini crossbow, etc., etc. There's a lot of options, and it's very exciting. But the question, of course, becomes, okay, so you have all these things. How exactly did you do the dual wielding, right? How complicated is it? Because I'm already publicly revealing this feature, I'm just going to say it straight. This is going to kind of blow your minds with like how harebrained this is, right? In order to simulate using the second weapon, I made you actually use the second weapon. It has a hook in for render overlay, so it draws just by the same means that you already draw an in-hand item. It is informed by its actions by its parent gun for most things, but some things it does independently. And in general, it's not terrible. You know, you can once you pair weapons, you can draw them in any combination. You can see that it matches. Oh, that's interesting. Ooh, we introduced a bug. Wowee. Okay, so that's cool. We're gonna have to look at that again. Damn, I thought I fixed that bug too. But in any case, you can see there's kind of a thing going on where if you have two different draw speed weapons that slows down the draw and holster to be whatever the slower of the two animations is. So that's kind of interesting on its face already. But we're going to have to do some more work, I think, with like dekinking that a little bit, because that little delay I have to add to stop the guns from bugging out is apparently not working in all weapon combinations. Oops, so if you switch to one and then back again, it breaks things. Yeah, see, that actually, yeah, it even does that with the basic pistol. That's very interesting. I had that working at some point, but I guess I broke it again. That's really frustrating, unfortunately. But obviously, it's pretty sweet. So I'm really enjoying this. This is a really huge boost. You can even do, like, grenades, things like that, throwing knives, you know, a lot of options for dual wielding. And this is a really nice boost to one-handed weapons that have otherwise been kind of lacking in raw firepower. There is a downside, of course, that you do go through quite a lot of ammo. You have decreased accuracy on average per shot. A lot of things like that going on. We also have like this leaning speed talent, and now you can run while leaning, but you can't crouch walk while leaning. They're mutually exclusive there because like that's kind of like a really fucked up center of gravity to be doing. So in stealth, you can't just use this for everything. But you know, with this lean speed talent, it's pretty good. Base lean speed was also increased, but the lean speed talent's the main one here. Doubling lean speed bonuses is nice. However, in exchange for having potentially 3 times the lean speed of vanilla now, leg damage slows down your leaning speed, so it's kind of another incentive for not fucking up your legs, which is kind of nice, especially if you're like being tactical.
Who's there?
That's another feature we have now. I just lost my damage gate, and the game was nice enough to let me know. Now, what damage types it makes that noise against is certainly going to be like the next thing I'm going to be looking at. But it does that, and as you'll notice in the health screen, we have blue for Christine, a quick health screen, but we also have blue in the upper left. So we actually have some really nice indications here of how a lot of this stuff works. So a lot of these colors now on the HUD can kind of let you know what's damaged and what's pristine, which is very important for high-level difficulty and high-level gameplay. So that's pretty sweet. This guy with the double. Nice. Missed with one gun. Didn't do great with the other. But yeah, you know, this is kind of a really fun system. We're going to have new weapon modding coming down the pipeline here, not all too far in the future too. And with it in 2.5, we're not only getting non-linear weapon modding, we're going to be non-linear AUGs, we're going to be getting aim-down sights, which is another idea being mentioned in the other Discord right now. So, another thing I want to do proof of life. Although, in fairness, I've had, like, iron sights on the to-do list for, like, literally years now. It's hardly a secret if you look at VMD's actual listings for shit. But yeah, this is kind of exciting. I'm definitely going to have to fuck with that offset and that delay with weapons, see if I can fix what the hell's going on there. That is going to drive me a little bit crazy. But obviously, like, coming into this, there's going to be a lot of really cool stuff to do in Phase 2, especially if you don't mind messing around with GP2.0 Alpha. It is a little screwy in some senses, like the recoil recovery is significantly worse than vanilla. But in exchange for being able to aim your guns significantly faster, that is pretty sweet. There's also some other stuff with Gunplay 2.0 I haven't mentioned, like recoil is actually, like when you shoot a gun, let me demonstrate this briefly. You shoot a gun, right, bam, not a whole lot going on there, but if we go with something a little more stable, these rapid fire like that, we notice that there's an upwards bias, right, for these shots. And that's because our screen doesn't recoil when we shoot the gun recoils, kind of like how it is normally. But if you're using a scope, the recoil does transfer to your view, as it would more or less if you're shouldering a weapon, like quite tight like that, it would kind of transfer some of the recoil to you. Of course, it's kind of magical thinking one way or the other, but this is basically what it's handling. So that's kind of sweet. That does kind of make recoil management a little bit better, especially with Akimbo. You don't have to worry about your screen getting moved 2 times as much. It's just, you have to probably alternate firing on the guns if you don't want to overwhelm yourself with recoil. Wow, that guy just got dumped. Past that, I would say there's also some other stuff, like we monitor our accuracy here. Obviously, we're used to like running and holding still. These are like the 2 modes in Deus Ex, right? But what if I told you you could walk? And walking gives you most of the benefit of holding still. So you can either use it to hold still at lower levels to kind of recover your aim faster, or you could alternatively use it just to kind of like have like a decent chance of hitting something, either at close range or at advanced level plus, we can get better odds of just hitting stuff in general. Actually, yeah, we're at untrained level. Oh my goodness. But yeah, if we go this again, oh yeah, now that's our walking level. That's pretty good actually. Like we might be able to hit something worth a damn with that. So that's kind of cool. That gives you more options for being on the offensive, especially with running and leaning being in the picture. A lot of fun stuff going on. This really does change up the gunplay quite a lot. It is kind of half-baked in 2.0 alpha without these subsequent weapon mod changes that I have on a test branch. I already made a video demonstrating some of those. That's pretty sweet. But obviously, as I've said a few times in this video now, we have a lot of stuff coming down the pipeline that's very exciting. And I think for 2.0, it's going to be enough to tickle your curiosity and kind of keep you entertained. But in 2.5, I think these systems are really going to get all that much better. So we're going to have to see how that goes. But anyways, yeah, thanks for watching.